In the year 2008, at the same time that phenomenons like Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm arrived in stores as a PlayStation 3 exclusive, Nintendo still had Takara Tomy and its desire to be on par with CyberConnect to keep the Naruto licenses. Naruto Clash of Ninja Revolution 2 would arrive on October 21st, 2008. Long time without watching this series, huh? It took a little longer than expected, but this is a saga of games worth of keeping present, even when we are about to finish it. If you want to see more episodes of Naruto games, click the like button. Remember that this way I'll bring you more videos related to the topic. What about 50 likes, again, for this occasion? I know you will not disappoint me, guys. The changes in this saga started to become more and more notable as time went. Until recently we realized how the first Clash of Ninja Revolution seemed like it still had the game's first graphic engine. The change was almost not distinguishing, or at least that was my perception. However, the changes in mechanics, missions and characters were very evident. Anyway, on this opportunity you can see how the second Revolution game has new nuances, new models, but look, I don't dislike that at all. I feel that it makes the gameplay much more unique, less repetitive. The previous models maybe gave a more detailed impression, but with this, the body expressiveness of the characters won many points. Still, what is Clash of Ninja Revolution 2 about? Well, it's an original story. They make that pretty clear as soon as you get into the first game mode. This happens after the events of Sasuke's chase, yes, the end of the series, and they introduce us to a good amount of new characters. In less words, some shinobi have been infiltrating neighbor villages and are making a jutsu that forces the inhabitants to fight each other, making them think and act in a hostile way. Right away we must start prevent that from happening in Konoha. The events are all fairly direct and are continuous combat sequences. The enemies are mostly characters we already know, since they are being controlled by this jutsu. It expanded pretty fast. Still, they do a good job of introducing us to the controls easily, since as you can notice, there are a few changes. I really like that now the dialogues don't ask to be skipped one by pressing that goddamn button. The game engine played an important role in the narrative. The story of this game mode is very simple, the typical revenge against the Leaf Village planned by certain original characters. Characters with a very outstanding design and dubbing in my opinion. However, it's still a plot that serves as an excuse to make our favorite ninjas fight. Something that I must highlight, since it was a factor that was bothering me during the entire journey, is the choice of difficulty with the CPU. We've already talked about this many times, but making an opponent difficult to beat just due to the fact that he does a lot of damage and that you take virtually nothing from him is a complete waste of opportunities that could make the player learn, instead of making him feel like a loser who can't pass the level without having already lost 15 times in a row. In certain combats, the rivals have armor. This means that only from the third or fourth hit they will have stun, a reaction that makes them stuck. This is obviously very important to be able to continue a combo, but without this factor, it's extremely difficult to do something productive with your skills. However, I suppose that the easy repetition of the levels makes us easily forget about this. Clash of Ninja Revolution 2 is a completely different game from the previous titles thanks to its changes that help it be a better version of itself. For example, you can now use a substitution without needing to attack your rival immediately, making this option safer. Now the guard does act like a conventional fighting game, but sometimes only one combo is enough to break the guard, when in games like its prequels or others like the Storm series, it took at least 2 combos, and without the possibility of being able to escape the pressure, also losing a lot of chakra if you break, sometimes it feels like it's useless to use the guard in the game. Many characters are specialized in breaking guards, so as long as you don't get matched with an opponent like this, you'll be fine. It's not the end of the world either. This game included something that would directly be used in many arena fighters today, the tag battles. Before, if there were more than 2 rivals on the field, they were seen in real time on screen, all fighting simultaneously. But now, even though the recently mentioned mechanics did not disappear, tag battles were included where fighting in duos, having the possibility to change leader. But they don't share a health bar, each one has an independent one. But this also came with several new elements to take into account. For example, the complementary characters don't have support attacks, but if they switch in the middle of a combo to do extensions, they can switch to save themselves from getting some extra damage, and every switch you make costs a certain percentage of chakra. Also, an addition that I loved was the definitive team attack. All members of the squad make a special attack, as we have seen in the Storm series, for example. The thing is that many of these attacks are the same, a sequence of both characters punching in a synchronized way, but others are unique attacks if the appropriate characters are chosen, like Naruto with Jiraiya, Sasuke with Kakashi, or Sakura with Tsunade, referencing relationships of the series. If we want to talk about the roster of characters, this time we have 35, a pretty pleasant change compared to its predecessor who got 20. Also, each character that was repeated on this opportunity had a slight change in their moveset. I really appreciate that. It must be mentioned that this game takes place at a fairly later point in the story for the first time, so we were complied with the QB versions of Naruto and the Sasuke's Cursed Mark transformation, but the story of this arc would not be emphasized on the game. Let's see something that was a very negative point for this title: the elimination, the killing of the online mode. The developers said that they needed more time to make the story mode, so the online was completely removed from the game. This is very strange. I mean, you should not remove the mode that keeps the game alive at least for a few months until the next one comes out, because you can finish the story in like 3 hours. It's a fighting game. Sometimes the story is not even that important, knowing that 1, it's not canon and many people are repulsive to that even if you want to deny it, and 2, your game is a fighting game. Just imagine if they took out the online from fighters. It would be an incredible waste. However, I feel that Naruto Clash of Ninja Revolution 2 is a step forward for the saga of games that Takara Tomy was about to conclude. The adding of tag combats, the improvements in the balance of some mechanics, and the increase of the roster are good decisions which, even with the lack of the online, they gave fans a fresh air before the first Naruto Shippuden game of the saga came out. But it's still a wasted potential. As I always say, leave me your opinions about the game in the comments, guys. I'm very interested in reading your stories and seeing what you experienced with this game at the time. Don't forget to hit that like button to continue the series. Thank you very much for watching. That was all for today, and I'll be watching you in the next video. Take care and see ya.